everyone. Welcome to the 50th episode of the Zicast. As always, I'm your host, Ryan Ziax, and today I'm joined by comedian Anthony Aicardi.
Hey!
And I'd like to shout out episode 31 guest Liam Chen for TDing once again. So, Anthony, I applaud your patience and waiting to be on the Zicast since you've been a day one fan and a very good friend, and I've been very much anticipating having you on here. So let's jump right into things, Anthony, and you tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. As you said, kind of a fanboy. I've listened to almost every single one. So this is kind of surreal. But my name is Anthony Aicardi. I'm an economics and data science double major, so I have two majors. I am a cast member on the show Quinnipiac Tonight. I am from Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. I am 20 years old, and I have blonde hair and blue eyes. So I'm basically Ryan Gosling.
Or Ryan Ziax.
Or Ryan Ziax.
Or Joe Flynn.
Or Joe Flynn.
Or Jeff Fish.
Or Jeff Fish. Well, maybe we're all just the same person.
Yeah, you're literally me.
I'm literally you, or you're literally me.
Yes.
We've already started the episode, and we're already doing the Ryan Gosling.
Yes.
Can I talk about how we're all the same person joke?
Yes, please.
Okay. So here's the thing. Me, Jeff, and Ryan all became friends last year. And we just all immediately liked each other. And we're all how tall are you?
I am 5'7".
You're 5'7". I'm 5'10". Jeff is
roughly around
that. So we're all three guys, blonde hair, blue eyes, who all pretty much look the same. So we started off the bit by doing the Spider-Man meme where everyone's like,
Yep.
So we do that, and then it just became a running gag that we're all the same person. Then we added Joe Flynn into it, who is a bit taller and has a bit darker hair, but his vibe is just so cool that like we're all the same person. And now we have our little group chat called Literally Me, where we just do the same bit. So whenever Ryan Ziax is on a thing, Joe will comment, oh my gosh, it's Jeff Fish. So we always comment the person that it isn't. And it's one of my favorite running gags ever. And you know what's crazy? Is that Jeff Fish posted on his private story on Snap. And I looked at the Bitmoji. I was like, oh, it must be a glitch. But he and I have the exact same Bitmoji. Like the exact same hair. We have different clothes, but like the blue eyes, the hair, like it's the exact same thing, which is crazy. I thought he was doing it for a bit, but no, we just casually have the same Bitmoji. So now we are forever, the four of us, all the same person. Plus, we threw in the Ryan Gosling meme in there. So it's either we're all the same person or we're all Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, it's a great low effort bit.
Yes.
Where it's just so easy. It's like, oh, I see you, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Jeff Fish.
Yes.
And you see me, and it's like, oh my God, you're Joe Flynn.
Yes.
It's like the John Cena, can't see him.
Yes.
Meme. It's like something that's just very easy to make jokes about. That's like so well known.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, is John Cena from Shrewsbury, Massachusetts?
I don't know. Is he?
I don't know.
What makes you think that he's? Is that like a commonly known thing?
They used to announce it like when he would go out in WWE to be like John Cena from so and so Massachusetts. I don't know if it was Shrewsbury.
I feel like I would have known if John Cena was in Shrewsbury. There is a little island in Shrewsbury called Busta Rhymes Island.
Really?
And it's named after Busta Rhymes.
Huh.
And Anthony Aicardi and Joe Flynn and Jeff Fish and Ryan Ziax are all from Shrewsbury, Massachusetts.
Wow.
See, that was the bit.
Exactly.
Bang. There you go.
That was a great trivia fact.
I'm gonna butt in here on the producer mic and let you know that John Cena is actually from West Newbury, Massachusetts.
West Newbury.
West
that's right.
Newbury. How could I forget?
Yeah.
West Newbury, the town that everyone knows about.
Yeah.
I just had my little Jamie moment there.
I was gonna say, pull it up, Jamie.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Liam, for answering that. I remember, it was something like that in Massachusetts. But of course we all met on Quinnipiac Tonight, the sketch comedy show here on campus. It's like Saturday Night Live. So in which, of course, is funny. So I'd like to ask you where you think or how would you describe your sense of humor?
Ooh, how would I describe it? I am a very energetic person. And I think I'm a very bright and positive person. So I sort of bring that in. I think a lot of the jokes and bits that I do are very energetic. Like I'm not good at like deadpan humor. Be like, yeah, like I just don't really like do that. That's not sort of my thing. And this is a known thing. I have a really loud laugh, and I like to say when I'm doing comedy stuff, I take the work seriously, but I don't take myself seriously. And what I mean by that is like I really value the production. I value making a good product, but I think the energy that you bring into it is just as important, because I've been in different shows. I've been a part of different organizations, and if the vibes are just off, it's going to be funny. If we write a Quinnipiac Tonight sketch and the writer's room is like dead, it's not going to be as funny. Like I've been in plenty of writing sessions where we were just like, oh yeah, like okay, and the sketch didn't turn out well. But if I surround myself with people that I can lift their energy, or they can like match my energy, I think it like does a lot of good for me, because I feed off of others. But also where I found my strength is bouncing off with people. Like even the Ryan Gosling bit, like I think that's really funny because we have that chemistry with each other to like bounce off of each other. And I feel that way with the other cast on Quinnipiac Tonight, where my number one goal is to develop like a relationship with them. Not like a relationship. I'm not gonna, but having a good dynamic. Because if I know someone better, then like I'll be able to connect with them, whether it be with sketches, whether it be a live show, whether it be improv, where connection is incredibly important. It's that partnership and that energy really makes it good.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, humor and art, it's meant to connect with people.
Yeah. And
I see very much this year, coming back to that, I feel like you've taken an even bigger role with your very much literally like the way you act. It's so big, it's so loud, and it's so funny. And that's what, as a producer, having you in my sketches, it's so much fun because you could just bring the instant funny. And
well, I appreciate that. Of
course. And you bring up improv, and that's something I'd actually really like to ask you about, because that's something that's always really perplexes me. And just take me, because you have a great skill for it. So just kind of take me into your mindset when doing improv.
Oh my God, that's such a good question. You know, you should have a podcast. Well, that was a weird laugh.
I mean, you did say that you have a distinct
laugh.
No,
but that's not my usual. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, well, I started doing improv in freshman year of high school because my brother Donald, shout out to him, he was a senior in high school when I was a freshman, so I was coming in. And I've done theater my whole life, so I've always been like a performer. Like I just had that like vibe, and also I'm just loud, so it kind of works well. And there was an improv club at my high school, and it was just like you go to the choir room, you show up, and you play improv games. And most of the games were stuff. Do you know the show Whose Line Is It Anyway?
I've heard of it.
So it's like little short form improv games. Like one of my favorite games was called The Dating Game, where like someone goes outside the room and 3 people are sitting in chairs and they play as like characters. And like if my character, like we did this the other night. My character that I was given was like a super senior. Like the type of guy that goes, "Let me walk you to class." Like, where my hug at? So,
you love those roles.
I love my super senior. I think my super senior is pretty good. But like you go and you answer and the person that goes outside tries to guess the characters. Like, oh, like what do you like to do for fun? And a super senior would be like, "Walk you to class." Like you answer in the character.
Yeah.
But I did that improv club all 4 years. Every Wednesday, 2 to 3:30 2 to 3:30 in the choir room, like every week. So I did it all of freshman year, and And then at the end of my freshman year, that's when COVID hit. So then we stopped doing stuff. Then sophomore year, we had our improv meetings on Zoom, which was in the club got like really small. It was only like 10 people, and 5 of them were the officers. And I was just a sophomore living my best life. But even improv on like a Zoom call was like so fun. And I think that's where I kind of learned that first lesson of building the rapport, because everyone that was in there, it was so small. We all had this like such great connection, and we really like bonded. So after like a few months, like every scene was good because everyone developed chemistry with everybody else. So then I at the end of sophomore year, we had like elections for the position. So I got vice president. So then when we came back junior year, it was back in person, and I had a lot of fun doing that. And then senior year, I did vice president again. So I did improv from 15 years old to 18 years old. Like, so my skill with that developed slowly over that time. When I joined improv club, I sucked. Like, it was so bad. Like, I wish I could go back and watch them, and I'd be like, yo, that shit ain't funny. Like, it's like, I see what you're doing, but, like, you suck. But I don't think, because you could have someone being, like, naturally, like, funny, because I think some people just are just lend them, their personality lends itself more to it. But whereas in a Quinnipiac Tonight sketch, you have lines and you can act the lines. If you're an actor or a singer in a musical, you have a script, you have choreography. What's special about improv is that you have nothing. It's just you and the other person, or you and the other people. And I think improv's strength is that it can reach such high highs, but its weakness is that if it goes bad, it can reach such low lows. And my appreciation for improv grew over the 4 years because I was like really bad at the start, and I was like really shy, and the club was full of like older people that I didn't know. But even by the end of that first year, I like became friends with the other people in the club, and like I occasionally got a like a little chuckle, you know. I'll say it. But over that time, it was just so much practice, and I think I'm taking an improv class right now. I'm not a film student or an acting student. I just needed a fine arts credit, so I just took it. And what my professor says in that is that the best improvers, improvisers, the best improvisers are very observant. And I think what he means by that is that a lot of great improv scenes start normally. I think when you have beginners to improv, they're like, okay, I'm going to go in the scene. I'm with Ryan Sachs, and I got to say something funny right away, right? Because that'll get people to laugh. But the thing about a scene is that if you and I did improv right now, we're just sitting in a room with nothing. Like we don't have a script, we don't have costumes, we don't have a set. It's just us. And how good improv functions is that you take something that's like, let's take like a supermarket, and you could be in a supermarket, and you're like, if you start to see me like, wow, I'm in a supermarket, like, what the hell are you doing, dog? Like, that's not going to be, like, you're going to get like a weird laugh. But with improv, you take something normal and you find something like strange. You find something weird about it. Like, I could be in a supermarket, the scene could start, me and you could be in the supermarket, and then someone's trying to sell us like something weird. And we could be like, oh, that's really weird how you're selling stuff. Like, this is crazy. And then you could bounce off of that. Or you could agree to it and be, yes, I want to buy rusty nails at Stop and Shop. You know, like, you know. And not every scene is going to be great. And I think that's what's hard, because it was like a training montage. I would go up, do a scene, and it would just, like, suck. Like, and I'm like, damn it. Like, and I would go, damn it. Like, go up, damn it. Like, and it takes weeks it takes hours and hours of just running it.
Mm.
But I think what you learn over time is you learn how to be comfortable.
Mm.
Because what I notice sometimes with newer improvisers, and like towards the end, junior and senior, I helped give advice to the younger people. And what I noticed is that the most common thing is when people are nervous, they talk really, really fast. Like, oh, what are we doing here? Oh, it's the supermarket. Oh, we got to buy resting nails. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Like, and it's like, breathe, you know? And you have to realize that you're talking to you're performing, you're in a scene with someone else, but you got a whole ass audience sitting right there. So you have to take it slow. You have to let the scene develop. You have to give yourself time to breathe. And I think some of the funniest improvisers, they act normal. Like they just act like a regular guy. Like they're not trying to be funny. And I think what's changed to me in my latter years of improv and my acting stuff recently is that I'm not really trying to be funny anymore. Obviously, I play it up. You know, I do a bit. I'll do a scary voice. I'll do like a lot of arm movements and stuff. But that's me playing the character. But I don't want to be like, oh, I hope this is funny. Like, I got to make this the funniest thing possible. Because I think you just got to trust yourself. And I think that trust and that confidence makes good comedians great. And that confidence and that like safety and comfort that you have with yourself makes improvisers good. And improv is so hard. It's so hard. I mess up all the time in improv. But like that's okay because I know the next scene will be better. Like when I was younger, I would dog on myself so much. Oh, damn it! Why can't I be as funny as Ryan Zicast? You know. But now I'm like, I could totally mess that scene up. And I'm like, whatever. I'll just do another scene. You know, like supermarket scene with bag of rusty nails. Yeah, that shit wasn't funny. Let's just do something else. I think improv is a testament to who you are as a person. Because how comfortable you are. How willing you're going to be able to put yourself out there. How willing are you to connect with someone else?
I mean, I wish I was as funny as Anthony Aicardi. But
oh, brother.
That's some really brilliant insight into improv and to the way it could get you out of your shell. Because I know so many people use it for those reasons. I also like how you highlight the high risk, high reward of improv, where it can either really work out or really fail.
Yeah.
And I also really like the emphasis you put on comedic characters. And I feel like that's something that's very much missing these days. Like, I think that we grew up with, like, Ben Stiller in Dodgeball's White Goodman, or in Zoolander's Derek Zoolander, or Will Ferrell, or Adam Sandler points, where they would, like, really embody, like, comedic characters. Like, when we think of, like, great actors embodying characters, we think of dramas, but that's very much present in comedies. And I feel like nowadays you just see, like, performers playing themselves, if that makes sense. And that's something I really feel that, like, comedy cinema is missing, if you agree.
This is cinema. But you know what that made me think of? I watched Anyone But You. That movie was not funny. Like, I think one of my favorite rom-coms of all time is oh my god, I forgot. Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah. Which we were in
because we're Ryan Gosling. Because we're Ryan Gosling. But like, that's a rom-com. Like, there's parts of that movie I die laughing. And none of the, like, I think Steve Carell I look up to a bunch. Like, I love The Office and stuff. And
him as Michael Scott, great comedic character as well.
Oh my god,
iconic comedic character.
So The Office is so good. Like, everyone on there is exceptional. And I think you see something like Anyone But You. That movie looked like a Capital One commercial. There was no heart and soul in that movie. And, like, sure, you have Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell, like, two, like, conventionally attractive people. But they got no chemistry. They got no nothing. It wasn't even funny. I'm a bit of a rom-com snob. You know, I was watching it with my friends, and they were like, "Oh my god, like, it was so nice." I'm like, "Guys, this movie sucked." I'm gonna be real. They didn't. They were not pleased with me when I said that. But I think what I try to do is, like with stuff like Quinnipiac tonight, is I try to bring like my heart and soul into it. So you all have already seen the sketch but a Bobcat Grill sketch. I just ran around in a Scooby-Doo costume. And Michael Rada, who was the host, he's from QFS, he just sprayed me with a Febreze bottle. And I had 3 lines, and all of them were moo, like meow, oink. Like that was literally my lines. But like I was able to like bring that, and it was like a really funny part of the segment. Or I hope it's funny. I haven't seen it yet. Happy New Year. No. But I think energy is something that comedy is lacking. And I really like I think my all-time favorite comedian is John Mulaney. And even though that he might have like done some like crazy things, I don't know. He brings a lot of like energy. Like I've like his how many Netflix specials does that? He has a lot.
Yeah.
But I've seen all of them like 5 times. Like I just eat that up. Like, and I think that like energy that he brings to when he's performing is like really admirable. And you said earlier that like this year I've had like bigger like stuff, which has kind of taken me by surprise, because I think I have had more like I hate using this term, but like big parts and like more lines in the first like 4 episodes of this season 11, than all of last year, which is crazy, because it's like I don't want the attention, like get away from me. But I think, and I've been grappling with that recently because I like love doing it, but I don't want to be in everything. Like we're like a cast, and I love the cast so much. And I think I'm getting to a point now in early November, because this will come out in January, that I'm developing relationships with everybody. Like I feel like I'm able to have like a good, like actual good conversation, and I think that's coming out in how I act off of someone on stage, how I act off of people in segments. You know, I think that relationship is really good, and I'm getting to know people better, and people are getting to know me more. And I think that natural like energy is bouncing off of people. So let me ask you this, Ryan. I'm sorry, I'm kind of breaking the cardinal rule of asking you a question.
No, that's totally fine.
But like, what do you think changed? Like, I don't understand what happened, because like I was chilling. I was a freshman last year. You know, I was. Did I say that I was a sophomore in the beginning? I don't think I did. I'm a sophomore. It's really the vibe really feels different.
Because you're so funny, because you're so dedicated and so talented and versatile, and you could step into all these characters, and we know you'll give it your all, and that's a great kind of message for when you move into the working world, to be reliable. That's one of the best things you could do, because talent can vary, but if you're just reliable and you're there and you put in the time and the effort, things will always work out. So in your case, why things change, I would say that's why, because we can rely on you.
I think I've changed too. I think this year so much of the cast is new, like and a lot of them are freshmen too, which I think makes it different, because you're a freshman, like you don't even know where all the dorms are. I like last year, like I don't think I went into Wedges, one of the dorms, until like December. And I was in Mountain View last year, so I was like right by there. And I think what I've been able to do is kind of given, because Jeff Fish and Madison Maskell are the 2 head writers now, and I love them both dearly. And they're kind of like the leaders of the cast, you know, because they write everything, you know, they give us like acting tips, or they lead the improv at cast practice, they do all that sort of stuff. But I think in my own way, I've kind of stepped up in the fact that I always try to give like a really good compliment.
Yeah.
Like during the shows, like someone will say they're like toss and they'll come off beat. I'll be like, Ryan, that was really good. Or like oh, the thing what you did with your facial expression and the way you reacted to it, that was really funny. And I think and I think it's part of the relationships thing. But I think I'm one of the it's weird because I'm only a sophomore, but I'm one of the older people on cast. And two of our cast members, Ben Darling and Sean Vukovic, were on cast previously, but not like last year. So in my head, I view them as like new cast member because even though that they're but they just haven't been on cast in a while. So I think there wasn't a lot of continuity. So I think I saw that and I was like, how can I like help? How can I like, how can I like support other people? And I think people notice that. Like before the start of every Quinnipiac Tonight meeting, I literally make my rounds. Like I go and try to talk to like everybody just to be like, hey, or I'll have like a funny picture on my phone that I'll want to show everybody. Or I'll just be yapping during the meeting while poor Shayna is trying to read the slides. I feel bad because sometimes I feel like I draw too much attention to myself because like I don't want to do that because then I'm just like an asshole, But I think my confidence is there now where I'm okay being like the butt of a joke, or I'm okay, having everyone like yap to, or like we have a quotes channel on the Discord, and I am always saying out of pocket stuff. And I wasn't like that last year, but this year, wait, I have like the Ariana Grande hoodie thing. Last year, I wasn't really comfortable with that, but I feel like I've gone out of my shell, and I think that confidence in that like my vibe and like the energy that I put out, I think brings other people in. And I think it's that energy that I bring into the sketches. Like I take the sketches seriously, but I don't take myself too seriously. I will make fun of myself so much. For one of the sketches, it was called Bobcat Boy. It was a great sketch. It was like awesome. I ran around in a little paper mask. I had jeans on, and I had a pair of boxers over my jeans. I was running around in jeans and my underwear in the middle of the quad. Or another sketch, I was a ketchup bottle and I ran around and talked to random people. That it was all improv. I just ran around with Sean Vukovic. He was mustard. And we're like, which do you like better, ketchup or mustard? And it was one of the best segments of the year. So I think being comfortable, and I think giving support and giving like tips or having that conversation with people is really important. And I'm trying to do what other people did for me, because like last year I was a freshman, like I didn't know anybody, and what I love about Quinnipiac Tonight so much is that it's such a great community, and like we're very welcoming. As much as we make fun of each other, oh my God, I make fun of people so much. I help people know I'm kidding. Dude, imagine if everyone was just like, yeah, Anthony Aicardi, that guy just won't shut up. Like, he's just a dick. But I try to do what other people did for me. I will never forget, like, this cast member last year, Jack Gata. He always, like, talked to me. And I was like, this guy's, well, everyone's talking to him, and he's talking to me, so that must mean I'm special. Or even like Shayna, who's the executive producer now. She was one of the associate producers last year, and like before the first show, like we had like hung out for like half an hour. And I like ran into her and we talked in like Starbucks for half an hour. I was like, this person is important, but they like care about me, so that makes me feel important. And I think if you're a freshman, and if you look over and you see this blonde guy in this like white hoodie doing the Ariana Grande hoodie thing, and he's just yapping the entire meeting, you're like, oh, what the hell is this guy's deal? And I think like, oh, but like, and I try to care about everyone. I try to talk to everyone. So it's like, oh, like I feel welcome. And I think that's why I do so much, and like people know me so well. It's because I'm just so like in people's faces. I'm like, hi, how are you? Like, how's your day going? Like let's talk about like anything, or let's just like do a bit like off the spot, like right now. And I think I have a good relationship with like everybody. So I think if I have a good relationship with everyone knows me. So they're like, oh, like you're filming a sketch. Like, oh, let's do Anthony for this part because I have such great relationship and I know he would do really well in this. And I think I'm a big advocate of the expression to be loved is to be known. It's a little sappy, but I feel known. You know, I feel like people, I think people know who I am beyond just like, oh, Anthony, he's on cast, he's on Quinnipiac tonight. But like they know me as like a person, like as like a human being, as like a friend. And I think because of that, I feel so loved and I feel so supported. Like if I wouldn't be able to do half the things I've done in the show without the support and the encouragement from everybody. And I think what makes Quinnipiac tonight so strong and what makes it so different from, not to shit talk other things, but what makes it so different from other things is that I feel like in Quinnipiac tonight, we're all on the same team, like especially the cast. I feel like we're all on the same team, whereas other things, it's like, oh, well, Anthony's the lead in this segment, so like he gets all the attention. Oh, but I wanted the big part. Or, oh, Castile has more lines than me. Like it's not like that, or it shouldn't be like that. We're like, my mindset is I will do whatever is asked of me, and what can I do to make this segment as funny as it can be? What can I do in the meetings to make everyone feel good? What can I do in the improv practice to make everyone laugh? What energy can I bring to make it even better? Then I'm an Eagle Scout. Leave no trace. Like, leave it better than you found it. I want to be in a place where Quinnipiac tonight would be worse off if I wasn't there. And I think that's a good mantra to have. Like, just like doing things and being involved in things and making an impact. Because I'm not a very passive person. I'm gonna like do this shit and I'm gonna do it 110% and I'm gonna like give it my all. And like part of me likes to think like if I was not in Quinnipiac tonight, it would still be awesome, but it would be a little less awesome without me. And I feel that way about everybody. Like if you weren't on the show, like it would still be good, but it wouldn't be great. You know, if the other cast members were on the show, be okay, but the cast, it's who we are. And it's like a puzzle piece, and like everyone has like it's like a puzzle piece, and everyone has a piece.
Yeah, and everyone has a story.
Everyone has a story. There we go.
There you go.
Is that the thing?
Yeah, those are some very powerful words. Like you think of a championship sports team, like the Boston Celtics.
Like the Boston Celtics.
Like everyone's doing their part. You know, Jason Tatum's not shooting as much and passing more for the benefit of the team, for example. And that's very true. And I really appreciate what you talked about with your leadership, going up and talking to everyone. Personability is very powerful in its own right, because that's how you connect with people. Like you said, that's how you connecting with people is the best way to do comedy, and connecting with people is the best way to find what real success is in the world, which I believe is connecting with others on those deeper levels. And I'd also like to ask you, like, what are some of your favorite memories you've had with Quinnipiac tonight so far?
Wow, there's a lot. Well, my first memory was from my audition, and I came here, and I didn't know what the hell Quinnipiac tonight was, and I was at the activity fair. I was like, sure, I'll try out. And my audition was at 10:20 on a Saturday morning, and I woke up. It was 10:08, and I was like, shit. So I didn't even change. I was in like sweatpants and like a hoodie, and I run over. I'm out of breath, and I auditioned. I was like, oh, that one, okay, you know, and it was so intimidating because I didn't know anybody. So I'm in a room with like 12 people. They're all looking at me. They're filming it, and they're like, "Be funny." I'm like, "I'm just a boy." Like, but miraculously, I got in, and I couldn't believe it because I was like, "Oh, like people like want like they like picked me like I'm not. They picked me. I'm not. I wasn't like the other guy." But ever since I joined, I was like locked in, and then I remember. One of my favorite sketches that I've done. It was like a kid's version of teaching politics. It was like a Sesame Street sort of vibe. And one of the cast members last year, EJ, he was like, "Hey kids, we're explaining like," and it was, and the sketch was like so simple. Like we were just in one room, and like 5 of us were just sitting next to each other. That sketch took like 3 hours to film, which was crazy. But I have never laughed harder in my entire life because we kept messing up. And I think that's one of the first times where I was like, oh, it's okay to totally mess this up. And like being like okay with it because we can just always do another take. I liked the holiday episode because this sound a little narcissistic or a little egotistical, but I was in Shane. It was like everyone was celebrating Christmas, but my character was Jewish, and that was like my first like lead part. So I was like, "Oh my god, like I got a lead part! It's so exciting!" Like it was like fine, like I thought it was gonna be like this big grand thing, but I was like, no, I just have marginally more lines than like MKF. Like, and I one of my favorite things was doing the musical. That was really funny, and it was so cringe. I was dying. Like, it was so bad, but it was so funny, too. The sketch was very good, but one of the lines I had to sing, and I'm not going to sing it now because I have, like, some amount of self-respect, but one of the lines was, "And I'm announcing that I'm a munch." And I'm like, I'm like, dog. Like, I can't believe I said that. But what I've enjoyed so much is that I've made so many like lasting like relationship with people, and the most bittersweet was when at the end of the last show, like all the seniors were saying goodbye because we had a lot of seniors last year, and I was like, no, I just got out of high school where I had to say goodbye to everyone. Now that I have to say goodbye again, and I got emotional because it was like I will never forget one of the cast members, Brian. He joined second semester, and I was talking to him after the show, and he's like, "All right, man, like I gotta go," and I was like, "Bye." And as he was walking away, I'm like, "This is the last time I'm ever going to see him in person ever again." And then he was just gone. I was like, well, guess I got to study for finals now. Like, it was, it's incredible how people can, like, come and go. But, like so many people, like, even the seniors that left, I had such a short amount of time with them. But I had such a strong bond with them. And in 20 years, I'm not going to really remember, like, what sketches I was in. I don't even remember what I was in the last year. Like, if you asked me what segments I've been in, I was like, oh, like, I could name a few. But, like, you know, if I do 2 segments in a live part, that's 3 things per episode. We've done... so I've been in over, like, 45 things. And, like, if you asked me to list them all, I don't think I could. And I think my favorite memories have always been doing stuff with other people, not necessarily the script, not necessarily the show itself, but the in-between moments, the sitting on the stairs, like yapping during the commercials, or talking in between takes, or like a crazy cast practice, you know?
This also jogs my memory of how we met. When we were talking about the how you go up and talk to everyone. I feel like we met just by sitting next to each other in the meeting.
Yes.
Because I would sit by myself, and I think this very much says something about the both of us, where I'm kind of always sort of in my own head, so I'll kind of be alone because I didn't really know anybody either because we've been at Quinnipiac the same amount of time.
Right.
We've both been here. This is both our second year here. When you think about it.
Because we are the same person. Oh my god! Oh my god!
But yeah, you just like sat next to me and started talking to me.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, I'm like, who's this kid
that
sat next to me and started talking to me? And then that was just every meeting. You would sit next to me and talk to me. And then we just became friends.
You know what's crazy? I do not remember that whatsoever.
Really?
I don't remember how we became friends. I just, as long as I could remember, being a year and a half, as long as I can remember, we were just friends. So that's interesting how you remember that moment. I didn't. But yeah, because we sit next to each other, and that's kind of like our seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At every meeting, we sit there.
Because it's great, because, like, you're not the yapper that I am. So what's great is that, like, I'll, like, yab something, and then I'll lean over and, like, do a little side comment. And then you'll say something, like, you'll lean over to me, because you won't want to, like, say to everyone. But you'll lean over, and I'll start dying laughing. And then everyone is like, what the hell, Anthony? Shut up. And I'm like, you don't understand. It's Ryan Zicast, guys. But, yeah, no, what I really appreciate about that is, like, that just happened. And I think we would have been friends regardless because you're, like, super cool.
Thank you.
But I think in another timeline, we would have been friends, but I think Quinnipiac tonight elevated it, and now we're, like, really good friends.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is a blessing, a great thing it's done. Yeah, like, I remember I met Jeff partially on the shoot and then in the bathroom at Econ. He
That's a weird place to meet someone.
Yeah, he saw me, and he's like, oh, you're Ryan. You're the new kid. I'm like, oh, you're Jeff Fish, the big star here. Yeah. That was the whole interaction. Then he left.
That's what you said. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, you're
like both at the urinals like, hey.
No, we were washing our hands, and he just went up to me. He's like, oh, you're Ryan. And I'm like, oh, you're Jeff Fish.
I would shake your hand, but we both just used the bathroom.
And then I think I met Joe Flynn in the media suite. Joe Flynn was a Boy Scout as well. I don't know if you watched his episode.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well,
makes sense.
Joe Flynn and I are the same person. Hey! for the TikTok for this, can you just cut together all the times we've said we're the same person?
It's like our version of bringing the boom.
We bring
the boom.
Oh my God, I cannot believe how much I love. Oh, you know what? Favorite memory of Quinnipiac tonight. First sketch was the orphanage. And it was one of the most messed up segments, just because Nick Wapaya, who is just a light of sunshine everywhere he goes, he played like this evil, like, orphan master guy, and he was just, like, super scary. And I did something, and Nick Wapaya, like, slapped me. Like, it was, like, crazy. Like, that hurt. But one of the bits was like, you know what, Anthony? Go to the punishment room. And I'm like, no. And then it cuts to me, and it's like this scary, like, shot. And I'm tied up in a chair, and I have a paper towel in my mouth. And I'm like, ah, ah, ah. And they just start playing We Bring the Boom. And if you watch that without context, you're like, what the hell is happening? But it was like, no, we just bring the boom. And it's just like, it was just one of, like, the greatest bits ever.
These sketches give you crazy dad lore.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm gonna have such good dad lore.
Like, I always joke, like, my time in LA gave me a ton of dad lore, but the sketches for you has given you so much dad lore.
Even in the past, even in this season alone, if we think about it, first episode, I was tied to a chair listening to We Bring the Boom. Second episode, I was Bobcat Boy, which was like a whole thing. Third episode, I was in a ketchup bottle costume. And then for the live show, I was in Elmo. I was in an Elmo jumpsuit. And then in this show, I was in a Scooby-Doo costume rolling around on the ground. So I really do put myself out there. And what I've noticed different about this year is how I look at leadership. Because I think last year, I try to model myself after Jeff a lot, because I think he was a, like, leader on cast. Like, I think people looked to him, and what I think what's happening now is people look to me for stuff,
Hmm.
and leadership has been a part of my life for like so long, and I think leadership, like improv, is really hard.
Hmm.
And I think it is hard to be a good leader because you have to control, and you know this as an AP, you have to lead the Ryan Zayek's Ryan Zayek's AP Quinnipiac tonight, top 4 APs. Top 4.
Thank you.
There are only 4 APs, so that's the joke.
Yes.
But you have to lead this. You have to lead us. You have to give the direction. You have to do the script. You got to figure out what shot you're going to do. That's hard. From my perspective, it looked easy, but like as I get more experience, like I appreciate what you do. And I was a leader in Boy Scouts. I did Scouts all those years. I led in an Eagle Scout project, which is like a service project. So I helped fix up this garage, and I organized some bins, and I did some landscaping, and I got some games for the kids. And you have to, the point of the Eagle Scout project is that you have to, it's like the culmination of all the leadership experience that you've done. So like you have to fundraise, you have to go to a council, you have to present in front of people, you have to lead the project, you have to fill out all the paperwork. So that's a lot of leadership. I was leadership in improv in high school, and now I'm fortunate enough to be a part of a cast where I can be a figure that people look to. And I mean, I really don't take myself to say, I'm not like, oh, look at me, guys. Like, people look at me like, I don't care. Like, I'm 20 years old. Like, I have better things to worry about. But I think what I noticed this year is that leadership skills are very different. And I think Jeff and Madison are great. And I think they're different writers than the writer last year, Grace Parisi. And what I noticed this year is what I didn't appreciate about Grace enough last year is that she was an exceptional leader. And you don't really realize that because it's like, if you know Grace Parisi, she's like loud, she's like, bah, she's like making vulgar joke after vulgar joke. She's crazy, she has her big ass nails. Love you, Grace. Big ass nails, like she's like this character, But the way she talked to people, the way she gave feedback, the way she carried a room, whenever she spoke, people listened, and like whenever she said how to wait. And I think that's a mark of a good leader, because I think what sometimes happens is that you never do this because you're just cool and I think you're a bit more naturally soft-spoken, which is like great because I think it serves you so well, is that sometimes people use like yelling as a crutch, and that pisses me off. Nothing makes me more angry than people yelling at me, telling me what to do. Because I think in order to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. Because too oftentimes, people are like, oh, I want to be an AP on Quinnipiac tonight because I want to direct the segments and I want to be in charge. I want to be head writer because I want to be in control of what people say. And it's like, are you doing that for the right reasons or the wrong reasons? Are you doing it to make this show great, or are you doing it for you? Like, are you doing it just for your dad lore, or are you doing it for the show you're being a part of? And that's what I mean, like leaving it better than you found it. I think if you go in, if you're a leader, it's your responsibility to, because you are in charge and because you have power and because you have a big say in how these things work, you got to take that shit seriously. Because when you're a leader, you get none of the credit and you get all the flack if it goes bad. And that's just the way it is, and that's the sacrifice you got to make. And I mean, most leaders can only be so humble because if you try it out, if you apply to be a leader, you have some sort of like, hey, I could do this, you know? But what makes me upset is that I've had leaders in the past, I've had, you know, people, and they're like, guys, like, let's listen, or guys, like, lock in, like, hey, like, listen up. And I'm like, if you have to yell to get people to you, then what the hell are you doing? Because a great leader shouldn't have to raise their voice. I think there's a difference between projecting and like yelling, because sometimes you have logistically everyone has to hear what you're saying. But there's a difference between projecting and talking so that everyone in the room can hear me versus get over there, hurry up. Like, please stop yelling at me. Because you gotta look at it from my perspective. If my boss is telling me, hey, hurry up, you got to put that thing over there, like, let's go, we're running out of time, I'm like, well, now you're just pissing me off. And I want to be able to look up to you. I want to be able to go to you in times of confidence and be like, hey, like, I'm giving this. I want to be comfortable enough to give you a suggestion if you do not, like, cuss me out for, like, having the nerve to, like, disagree with you. You know, and I think Jeff and Madison are great at that, where they are so willing to do whatever. I think whenever I give an idea, I mean, not every time they, like, do it. Sometimes I'm just, like, riffing. But I feel comfortable enough with them where I can give my say, and they'll actually, like, consider it. And oftentimes they actually, like, do it. And that makes me feel so, like, special because it's like, oh, like, I'm being heard. I'm being known. You know, I'm being, like, loved. Like, I'm being, like, known and appreciated. Whereas if you sit high atop your leadership tower and you're like, I'm in charge, I run this ship, you know, like, you do your thing over there. Like, you take care of the tough work that I don't want to do. Or I'm going to yell at you, just you guys move faster. Like, yeah, if you yell at people and you scream at people, people are going to move quick and you're going to get that shit done. But that leaves scars. And I've been, like, I pretty much like everybody in Quinnipiac tonight. And I like most people, but some people I like and some people I just get along with. And, like, that's fine. You don't have to love everybody, but some people you just get along with. And I think what I always try to give people, like, a fair shake. Maybe they had a bad day, maybe there was not. But if you yell at me to do something, or if you're yelling at me when you're criticizing me, instead of being, like, constructive and being like, and I get it, no one's perfect. Sometimes we lose focus. I've done it in the past where I've been in charge of something and I, like, lose my temper and I start yelling and it's just, like, bad. And it's like, it's okay to make mistakes, but I think there's a difference between a mistake and a pattern. And if there's that pattern of, like, just being mean, then it's like, why am I going to listen to you? And it's an endless cycle, because if you yell, people don't listen, and then you have to yell even more, and then it makes it worse. Where if you come at a mindset of, guys, I know we're really distracted right now, but like let's lock in and work together, because I'm not going to yell at you, because this isn't middle school.
This harkens back to Whiplash, of the teacher who yells and screams at the students, and the irony of that is that you played a parody of a character.
We just did that
in Art Lash for another Ben Wallen sketch, so that's a funny comparison to draw. And I think that's another that's just some more great insight, and it really and that's also reminds me of something else I think that's very valuable to leadership, is being perceptive of things and people.
Yes,
and I feel
that's
you are.
So important.
Like,
yes.
The little things someone does well that's maybe unique or distinct to them, like you noticed me being soft-spoken and how that serves me well for things like this, is that everybody has unique talents, and I feel that one of the best ways to get good results out of people is to play to people's strengths and then try to improve their weaknesses.
You could not have said any better. I think being perceptive is such an important skill. And I think that's another thing my improv professor says. Like, improvisers are very perceptive of the world around us. And that comes from building the relationship. But I'm like, oh, when I see Sean Volukovich on stage, I know that he does characters. He's the best at doing characters by far. If you give him like a wacky character or like an out-of-pocket character, he's the best person of all of Hamden, Connecticut to do that. If you need someone with great stage presence, like a boomy voice, and just being like really physical, Castillo is your guy. If you need someone just be like, well, this is weird, and being funny while being so normal, you got to get Charlie Bennett for that.
Yeah.
I think knowing people's strengths and knowing people makes it so important, because like Jeff and Madison, I think they're good leaders because I feel known by them. You know, I think they know my strengths, they know my weaknesses, and they're like, Anthony, have you tried doing this? And I know it's all in service of my strengths because I know them, you know, and I like respect them so much and I love them so much. Where if I went up to you, if I was in charge of a shoot and you were like being like, I would be, if you guys were being quiet, I would be like, Zayaks, like just talk louder, like just like, come on, man, like let's lock in, dude, like are you even trying? That would like break your heart, because it's like obviously you have the ability to like be loud and stuff, but that would come from there's a disconnect.
Yeah.
Whereas like, oh, I know that Castillo's volume and energy he gives out is different from Ryan's, and one isn't better or worse. I think a lot of people have the misconception that like loud is funny, or like,
yeah,
but I think it's not the volume, I think it's the energy. And I think the energy that you and Castillo, I'm just using Castillo as an example here, you guys give out like opposite energies, but I think you're both really funny because you do what you're good at. And I think the best leaders know how to bring a person's strength and bring that out of them and makes those strengths into like really good strengths. And if you lean into your strengths, you can help minimize the weak spots of your game.
Yeah, there's different ways to bake a cake.
Yes.
And that very much harkens that. And it also reminds me of just how funny Castillo is. Of course, I had Michael Castillo on here, and he was just cracking. I think you were there too. He was just cracking us up in the media suite for the show last night.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just so funny. And he could
glazing.
That's really a great point. And I really love all that you said about leadership, and I think it harkens to just how smart you are, which I think leads into your double majoring. And just to make sure I get this right,
that was a good transition.
Being an econ student and data science major. So tell me like that whole just being that whole process and your goals with it.
Sure. So I came into college and I was like, I want to do econ. And my parents were like, why do you want to do econ? I was like, I don't know. It seems cool. I took a econ like semester elective class in high school, and it like sucked. But I liked the concepts. It's just like my teacher wasn't that good and the class wasn't that good. Like we played the game Monopoly like 3 times. I was like whatever. It was like senior year of high school, so it's like
senioritis kind of stuff.
Yeah. But I was like, this is like lame. But I started taking econ classes here, and I loved it. I was like, oh, this is really great. But also, I kind of want to get into stats. And my advisor was like, hey, have you tried like data science? And I'm like, no. I'm like, why would you say that? So I took a data science class my fall semester, and I really liked that too. So my advisor was like, do a double major, and a lot of people think it's like econ and I have data science as a minor, but no, they're like 2 different like majors. Like I'm doing 2 entirely different bachelor's degrees. But a lot of the classes are the same. Like a lot of the stats classes are the same that I like would have to take econ anyway. And I'm very fortunate. It was like my first pick of like major, and I just really liked it. And what I like about it is that it's businessy, but not too businessy. It's like there's stats and like mathy, but it's not too mathy. And it's like studying people, but it's not like a sociology type of thing. Econ and data science as well, because it's very a mesh of computer science, stats, math, and a few other things. I think it takes the best parts of like 6 different majors and it just combines it, and I'm just really enjoying it. And what's cool about econ and data science is that I can do like whatever I want. I could go into the business world. I could go into data analytics. I could do computer science if I wanted to. I could do insurance. I could do sports econ. I could do programming. I could do consulting work. There's just so many things. And while I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, I'm starting to put that together. And it's kind of weird because a lot of my friends are, I have a lot of Quinnipiac Tonight friends, so a lot of my friends are film. And then a lot of my friends that I live with and that I lived with last year are like science, biomed, health science. So I don't really know a lot of econ people. So I'm taking a few upper level econ courses right now. And it's kind of refreshing because it's all the like econ students. Because the early econ classes, you get some business kids here, you get some stats kids here. So there wasn't a lot of econ majors, but now I'm like, these are my people. Like I'm like, hey guys, and they're all like seniors about to graduate. So I was like, damn it. Like, so I've really been enjoying it because the more I learn about it, the more I really like about it, and it's something I'm like passionate about, and I'm getting to not to be not humble, but I'm getting to a point now where it's like I actually get to like know what I'm talking about. Like if you ask me an econ question, I could give you like a pretty good answer.
Yeah, and that's very vital. I feel like for young people as well, because I feel like a lot of people our age like don't know a lot about like finances and the economy, and to kind of have that knowledge while also branching out and doing things like comedy, I feel like that's so vital.
Yeah, and what's cool about econ data science, it's that it's so different for what I do for fun.
Yeah.
I'm very like, this is my school career stuff, and then this is my fun stuff. Like, I make the joke all the time. Quinnipiac Tonight, full of film kids or communications adjacent people.
Yeah.
And then there's me. Like, I just do this for fun. Like, a lot of my passions have nothing to do with, like, homework. Like, I was a theater kid. I just did theater because I like theater.
Yeah.
You know, I did improv because I liked being funny. I read because I like reading, you know.
And I drive.
I drive. Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, that's fascinating separation, because even myself, like, I'm big into film, and I use a lot of what I do as a producer to like get film practice. So I think that's very interesting to see that what you plan to go into isn't really in that comedy field, and that you do this truly for fun. And maybe that's the perfect reason to be in it, is just for fun.
Yeah, and I think I struggle with this. I joke all the time that I'm slowly becoming a film major because I've spent the past year and a half surrounded by film people. So now, even today we were shooting and there was like mic trouble. So I was like, oh, have you tried just using the camera audio? And I was like, oh my God, I'm becoming a film major. But it's really interesting how I'm just learning a bunch of these like little, like, I know what the rule of thirds is now. Yep. Which is crazy because I was like, what is that? Like a fraction? Like, this isn't math, but I'm like learning so much stuff because I have no interest in going into film. I have no interest in going in the film industry.
You're probably better off.
I'm like, yeah, I like performing and I love doing comedy. So, you know, maybe I'll do something like that, like for fun in the future. But I think that's what, because obviously everyone in the club is so passionate about that film stuff. But I think what's neat about me is that I'm really passionate about it, and it's not even like what I do. Yeah. Like for like officially, that's not what I do. Because I didn't really realize that Quinnipiac Tonight was a part of Q30, the TV studio. I thought it was its own thing. Like what I appreciated about my high school improv club is that probably half of it was like theater kids, but half of it wasn't. You know, they were like, I hate to use this term, but like normal people. Yeah. And what I really liked, I love a lot of the new people this year, but a lot of them are very film. Like you can tell. And part of me, what I hope can change for the future is that maybe we can bring in more people. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying that all film people are like, but you can kind of like tell.
Yeah.
You know, film majors just like film adjacent people just have this like vibe, and I think that's cool. But I think what the best cast members that I've seen, they bring their own unique energy, and I think the best people on, I think everyone on cast is like this. I think everyone that brings their own unique energy and their own unique spin makes that impact. And I think I'm fortunate enough and I'm blessed enough to be a part of something, a part of it, where I think my unique like experience and my unique like worldview and skill set makes an impact, because no one else is making the impact that Anthony Aicardi is. No one is making the impact that you are having. You know, like this, like I said before, the club would like suck without you.
And the club would definitely have a giant void without you.
Well, I appreciate it.
But of course,
you call me fat. No.
But to stay on the topic of you, I'd like to ask you, what are some things that people might not know about you, like fun facts?
Oh my God, I'm such a hopeless romantic. I'm such a hopeless romantic. I love rom-coms. At home, my mom got me hooked on the Hallmark romance movies, like the one on the channel.
The channel.
The Hallmark channel.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The channel. And all the movies are the same, right? Because, you know, girl, big city, in the city, goes to a small town. Incredibly attractive farm boy is just there, and then they, like, fall in love. And it's like they have, like, all the same tropes. But I am a sucker. I'm just a sucker. And I'm like, I just love like romance stuff. I'm so happy for like other people that are in relationships. I'm always like, how do you do it? You know? And I think it's had such an impact on me in the past year and a half because I'm currently single and I haven't been in a relationship for a while now. And I think Anthony last year, 19-year-old Anthony, was a really hopeless romantic, emphasis on the hopeless. And
I was going to make that joke. I was going to say, yeah, emphasis on hopeless.
We're telling Babs, I know the question you're going to ask next. Yeah. And it was a lot of, and I also felt it because, you know, I was going for a breakup. I was in college. I was still trying to find my way. But I think there's two, and I talk about this because I have a few friends, and they're all my age. They're like 19, 20 years old, and they've never been in a relationship. They've never like held hands or like had their first kiss, and that's like crazy to me because we're all like adults, but some people haven't had that, and so people feel that you're missing out. But what's changed for me, and I was like that for a long time, but what changed for me is, I don't like the phrase like work on yourself because I think it should be worded better, but I'm not smart enough to come up with a better phrase for it. So a lot of last spring was me working on myself, and it took a long time. Like, it wasn't overnight, you know. It took months and months and months. I got into the gym. I started journaling every night. I'm a huge advocate for journaling. I worked on my relationship with my friends, not making them better, not making necessarily new relationships, but getting like deeper relationships, like knowing more about like the core of someone's, like having the occasional heavy conversation with someone I think is good. And I started focusing a bit more on my faith. I started and I just developed over time. I developed this self-confidence, and that self-confidence, and I think it developed like higher standards for myself. Because for a long time I was like, oh, like, why won't this person like me, or why can't I like get a girlfriend. Like I like what's wrong with me? But now my mindset is I'm not gonna rush into a relationship because I want to be a good partner and I want like a committed, serious relationship. But also, what can they do for me? Like the relationships are 50-50. Like that's half of the relationship. And for too long, I've spent time like pining over people that just don't feel the same way, or like not feeling myself like I'm worthy enough for it. And now I'm like I know I'm confident. I know I'm a good person, and I know I enjoy being around people, and people are around me. And now I'm a hopeless romantic, but my mindset now is I think when it happens, it'll be great. But I've been single for the past almost year and a half, and I'm doing great. You know, I think, and I think oftentimes with men, it's like, oh, I need a girlfriend because I need to be all like macho and like masculine and all that. And I'm like, that's stupid. Like, with all due respect, that's stupid. I think like true masculinity is like being comfortable with yourself. It's not this macho like Andrew Tate, like David Goggins persona of like, oh, look at me, I'm an alpha male. Like I'm super strong and I like command a room and I'm like are you like 13? Like, are you like a 13-year-old boy in 7th grade? And I think what I've matured about and what I've matured of is that like I think for me it's like, how can I be a leader? How can I form good connections with people? But also, how can I just be okay with being who I am? I think confidence is a big thing with being attracted to someone. And I'm like, well, I want to be confident because I think being confident is great. But I think in the past I was outwardly confident, but inside I would be like overthinking and doubting myself. And I think I felt that way at the start of Quinnipiac tonight. Like I didn't have a lot of confidence. I was very passive. But as I started working on myself more and as I started to get more of that confidence, like my whole life got better. Like I think Anthony today, what day is it today? Friday, November 8th is so different from Anthony January 8th. And it's been 10 months. And I think that change in my life and that maturity, I feel my frontal lobe developing. But I think that change has been good. And now I'm not like, I think last year I wanted a girlfriend, but I wasn't ready for it. And now it's like, yeah, like being a part of a relationship, falling in love, I think that'd be cool. Like I think it would be great. But I don't need it to be happy. I don't need it to be a part of my self-worth. Because I've made the mistake in the past before of a few times of getting into a relationship just to be in a relationship. Because then it's like, do you want a girlfriend or do you want to form a meaningful connection with someone? And I'm at a point now where it's like, I'm 20 years old. I want to form a meaningful connection. I want a partner that I can grow with. And now my thinking is, I can grow so much by myself, so that growth could be really strong too with someone else. But if you're stagnant, and if you're just waiting, so someone can fix me or I can fix them, it's like that relationship is gonna last 6 months because after a while, when the rose-tinted glasses come off, you realize I can't grow with this person. So why am I going to spend so much time, so much energy, so much love? And I think all those Hallmark movies, they're not the greatest thing ever. But I come from a very loving family. I come from a very like strong family, and it's built off of love and like support. And now I'm like why am I going to spend time with people that's not going to love and support me? Because I know for a fact I'm going to love and support. I'm going to give my 50%. I'm going to strive to give that 60% of the relationship. But I th- I th- I think you have to be mature enough to get into a relationship. Right now. I'm in a point in my life where I think I've matured and I think I'm ready for that next step. But if that next step doesn't happen for another year, that's totally fine. Like like if it's meant to happen, it'll happen. But I'm not gonna waste my time with getting into a relationship with the wrong person.
If you build a great garden, butterflies will come.
Damn right, brother.
And I think you emphasize something that's very powerful, once again, to use that word again, and it's discipline. And I feel like that's one of the hardest things to acquire in life, when temptations can guide us in so many different ways. Sure. But to be self-aware enough to be like, I'm not in the point I need to be to give someone that 50%, which is, I would say, the greatest joy in life is finding your 50%.
Yes.
And for you to realize that at the age we're at is very, very strong, because people might go their whole lives not realizing that and never reach the height of love that we're all seeking.
Yeah, and I think I'm a loving person, and I pin this on my parents because my parents are both very loving. You know, in the Aicardi household, we always say, "Oh, love you," like "bye, love you," like when someone's leaving, like every time. And if it's weird if you don't say it.
Yeah, it's little things like that. Sorry to cut you off. It's little things like that you don't realize have such a big impact that you almost do without thinking about.
Yes. Exactly. And I think that self-awareness is good, because last year, I almost got into like talking stages, or I almost got into relationships with people, but I'm like, this doesn't feel right. And although it hurt in the moment, I think in the long run it's good. To use an economics term, short term it hurt. Long run, my marginal benefit was greater, because although I think I don't want to be like, oh, like, it was an okay relationship. Like, I want like a great one. And I think what comes with that is like I don't, like, I'm not like dating to marry. Like I do want to get married. Like, it's like very important to me, but I'm not like, whatever my next relationship is going to be, like, I'm not going to say 2 weeks in, all right, we're going to get married. Like, because that's crazy. Like, because, like, you know, there's no guarantees. But I think a lot of I have people that are in my life that are struggling with what I struggled with in the past year. And I say to them, I'm like, I think you should do all or nothing. I think you either take a break and just quote unquote work on yourself, or just being okay being single. And because it's easy, I shouldn't say it's easy, but it's convenient to get into a talking stage. It's convenient to be snapping someone. It's convenient to not have that commitment and not be ready to take that next step. But all of the heartbreak that I've heard coming from my friends over the past year and a half of college, all of them have been situationships. Like, and because of that, this year, I stopped using Snapchat. I still have my like story, and I still like post on that occasionally, and I like look at other people's stories, but I've just stopped snapping people. Not that I like snap people, because not because I don't use Snapchat to like flirt or whatever. I use it to like snap my friends. But it's like, you know what's funny? I had this conversation with Nicole Miller, who was a cast member last year. I was telling her about one of my a bit of Anthony lore, and she was like, "Oh, you're still using Snapchat? Like, that's so freshman of you." And it was like a little like a side joke, but that has stuck with me. And I'm like, "You're right. I'm 20 years old. What am I doing still texting people on Snapchat where it says Anthony Aicardi is typing and my little head pops up when you check an but you can't take a screenshot because and it deletes after 2 days." It's like, I'm going to just give you my number, and then I will have a conversation with you then. I do this with my friends too. Like anyone that's like worth forming a partnership with, like, get their number. And this makes me sound like an unk right now. Like, oh, Anthony's yapping it. But I think it's true. Like, I think it's honest to God true. Because I feel like Snapchat is so like high school. And like, I know like a lot of people at college do it. but a lot of people that are using it the most are in committed relationships. So in data science terms, I think there's some correlation there.
Very much so. In situationships, it's like being half in, half out.
Yes.
And sometimes in life, you just need to go balls deep. and you,
what the?
Hey, yo.
Oh, my God. Amen, brother. Amen. Man, that was the most cringe high five I think I've ever done. Okay.
and well, I keep that in the final edit. I'll see. But yeah, you just need to be fully committed.
Yeah.
And I feel like situationships are easy because you don't have to be fully committed. You could be half in, half out.
Yeah.
You cannot be truly dedicated. And then I just feel like in life, you have to, it's like you said, it has to be all or nothing with so many important things.
Yeah.
With love or with work.
Yeah.
Like being half committed will get you half committed results.
Exactly. You could have that philosophy with the gym. You could have that philosophy with studying. I have that philosophy with Quinnipiac tonight. I could not show up to the cast practices. I could show up to like one segment, ask for a small part and everything. But no, I show up to everything I can go to. I go to, if there's a writing session, I'm not even in the sketch, I'll go. Like today, I did that this morning. Like bringing 100% to everything you do. And I think that's the best way to make a good change in your life. I put a lot of effort in being like developing my emotional intelligence, developing my confidence, being 100% and working on trying to mitigate the overthinking and the self-doubt that I had for a long time. And because of that, that's what developed my confidence. And another thing about maturity thing, I think the most important value in a partner is emotional maturity and emotional vulnerability. I don't care if you are the most conventionally attractive person ever. If you don't know how to talk about your feelings maturely, get out of here. Because it's like, all like a lot of relationship struggles come from miscommunication. And if you can't even communicate how you're feeling like by yourself, then how are you going to communicate to a person that isn't even inside your head? And I think, and I know different people have a hard time opening up, and I think a lot of men especially have a hard time opening up. But what I've come to realize is that being vulnerable is good, because that's how you take relationships from the next step. Even relationships with like friends, it doesn't have to be a partner. Like it was about that time, second semester, where I started having deeper conversations with people on Quinnipiac tonight. I know I started having deeper conversations with you, and I think that made our relationship that much stronger. In situationships, there's not a lot of emotional depth there. You know, it could be a lot of like trauma dumping, but like emotional depth doesn't have to be, I'm bringing up all of the really traumatic things in my life, all the really sad things, all the things that I'm struggling with. It could be like, hey, I'm feeling, sound like gentle parenting, but I'm feeling really big feelings right now, and I want to talk about them. Or I'm feeling really big feelings right now. Let's have a conversation about it, and like, let's see if I can process these things. And now I'm at a point, and I attribute this to journaling a lot and like working on my mental health a lot. Now I'm at a point where it's like, if I'm having a bad day, like, I kind of know why. Like this week, up until like Thursday night, I was having a terrible week. It was just one of those like days of bad stretches. It's always happens on bad days when like you're having a bad day and then something bad happens and you're like, come on, can I get a break? But you know, but I was like, well, at least I know, one, that I'm gonna get out of it, and two, I kind of know why I'm feeling this way. And if I know why I'm feeling this way, I kind of know how to fix it. And I think that's why I'm a very, like, my bar is kind of like up here, because I kind of know how to manage myself, like that self-management and that emotional management. Because I don't care who you are, everyone has huge emotions, just different people just talk about them and express them in different amounts. Because some of my friends, you could not get them to talk about like something that's like upsetting them like ever. And then some people sometimes share too much, and I'm like, okay, I'm not a therapist. Like, I will support you, but I can't do that. And I think I have the confidence now where I'm like, it's okay to have like really strong emotions because I know how to manage them and I can acknowledge that. And I think another thing that sucks about toxic masculinity is because you're like, oh, you can't express yourself too much. Like, you can't express how you're feeling too much. And I'm like, guys, what is this? Like the 1960s where like therapy didn't exist, like for men? And it's like, I had therapy like a lot, like growing up, and it was like so good for me. And while I'm not doing it like right now, like if I got the opportunity, I would totally do it, because I think your life just gets a lot easier when you're comfortable enough with yourself to like talk about it. And I think how people get stuck in like these traps is by keeping it all inside.
Because a lot of people's problems are very deep rooted, and I feel like they don't understand why they feel certain things because you can link to certain things in their past, and then that's how therapy can really pull that out of people. Like, I remember when I would be in the Bad Friends studio, both on the podcast and outside, Bobby Lee would talk about how much therapy has helped him and mindfulness, and of course another comedian such as yourself, and that no matter who you are, you can always pull so much out of therapy.
And I think that's where my strengths come from, is because I know who I am. I mean, I could have a crazy 2 years, and then I'm graduating, and I'm like, I'm like different. But
literally me, crazy 2 years, and then you're graduating.
I'm crazy 2 years, exactly. Because we're the same person.
Literally.
But I'm comfortable and confident enough to run around in a ketchup costume with a film crew talking to random people.
Yeah.
It's like, that's crazy. Like, that's great. Like, who in their right mind would do that? Me. Like, Sean Vukovic, me and Sean Vukovic.
Yeah.
But I think I really like, this is going to make me sound like an asshole, but I just love, I love being the center of a room, center of attention, because in my head, I don't try to do it for like a narcissistic reason, like, oh, like I want people looking at me, but it's like, no, but like, this is what I'm doing, and isn't this like really exciting?
Yeah.
Like, I'm such a yapper. It's like, I will talk to anybody for like hours, and like, so much of it is like, oh, this is what I did today. Isn't this picture that I have on my phone crazy? I'm gonna go around and talk to everybody in the room around it. And I think I try my best to do it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Like, I don't try to do it because, oh, I want people looking at me and I want people laughing at me. But I try to do it because it's like, hey, this is cool and I think it's cool. So I'm gonna share part of who I am with other people.
Yeah, you're like an extrovert in kind of an introvert's world, so to speak. I feel like the world itself and the way society's structured can be very introverted.
Yes.
And to be an extrovert can sometimes feel very much outside the mold. But
Yeah.
I feel like you need people like that in your life. You need people who provide that spark plug or be that spark plug, because it just makes things way more entertaining.
Yeah. And it's funny, almost all of my close friends are introverts. Like, a lot of, not all of them, but a lot of my home friends, pretty introverted. I mean, as they've gone to college, they've gone more extroverted, and I'm like that's awesome because they're kind of putting themselves out there. But even I would say in like the people that I hung out with last year, like as freshman year, a lot of them were pretty introverted. So I don't know what it is that I just really mesh with introverted people well, and I have plenty of extroverted friends. But even like in Quinnipiac tonight, like you have like the cast, which overall is pretty extroverted, but there's a lot of crew, and not everyone is very yappy. Not everyone is like, like, if you told me right now I would have to get on a stage and do a bit for 5 minutes, I'm like, sure, give you a microphone. And if you say that to someone else, they're like, hell no, like I'm never doing that. But if you told me to do a really complex film thing or do a really complex, like, I'm a terrible cook. If you told someone to do like a baking show and I want to have like, I know what I'm good at, but I also like to surround myself with people that are good at other things. Like, I want to surround myself with people that are really good at something that isn't me. That isn't something that I do. Like like a lot of my friends are really smart and really like doing really like doing like various things. I don't like I have no interest in what the different things that they do, but I think it's really cool because it kind of expands my worldview. I think Quinnipiac tonight expands my worldview and the fact that in high school I did not care about like because they had like a film studio. Like I couldn't care less, you know. Like, but now it's like I low key like vibe with everything. Like in another life, I could see myself being a film major now because it's like when I feel like I'm starting to know everyone else and like to be known and to be loved, right? So it's like I have this appreciation for other people, like, and I think people say, "Oh, I wish you were more extroverted," and not a lot of people say, "Oh, I wish you would like shut the hell up," but not even that, but just like sometimes you don't always have to be like and that's something I'm working on right now. That sometimes I worry that I overstep with advice, or sometimes that I talk for way too long and I need to be a better listener. I'm really trying to be a good active listener. I mean, this is the wrong place to be an active listener because I've been yapping for the past hour. But I'm trying to work on that where I can still be when I need to be. I can be the larger than life Anthony Aicardi caricature that I am. But also, it's okay for me to be a little bit more low key, a little bit more like I want to listen to your 35-minute story of how you went to the dining hall today, which I've been known to give. My poor roommates. Shout out to my roommate Mike last year, and shout out to my roommate John this year, because they have heard plenty of Anthony yaps at like 1 in the morning.
To be mindful, you need to talk to a therapist.
Oh my god.
But
oh my god. You're getting a lot of Zicast bangers right now.
Yeah. But on a more serious note, really what you said echoes to not be the smartest person in the room.
Yes.
All the time, and how rewarding that can be.
Yes.
And
absolutely.
Speaking of rooms that you'll go into, I'd like to ask you, what are some of your hopes and dreams professionally or in general?
Well, my biggest dream in life, this is a fact, is where I live in as an adult, I want there to be like a diner or like a local restaurant nearby, and I want to go in like every week at the same time, so I can be like, "Hey, what's up? Give me my usual," and they know exactly what my usual is. Because everyone says that in the movies, but I'm like, what the hell is a usual? Like, if I went to McDonald's right now, I was like, "Oh, hey, give me the usual." They're like, "Sir, what the hell are you?" I'm like, "Have you tried using the app?" I'm like, "No, give me my usual." Like, that's crazy. So I want to do that. That's just like a pipe dream of mine. In terms of short-term goals, I want to graduate. That's a pretty good one. I want to continue this personal growth cycle that I've been on. And I think there's always room to improve. And I think right now I've kind of put a lot of this self-confidence improvement. I've kind of wrapped that up. So now I'm working to improve myself in like different ways. So I want to continue that personal development. I'm also always trying to try like new things. I hate change. I hate it so much. I don't like new things. I was so unhappy at the beginning of this school year because I was like, I have a new dorm, I have new roommates, and Quinnipiac tonight isn't exactly the way it was. And they like changed the menu at the dining hall. So I was like, no, you have to keep things the same. So I'm trying to deal with that. And one nice thing I know about myself is that I don't like change. I don't like transitions. But give me a month, and it's like Like
You
now
settle in.
Yeah. Like, I don't miss freshman year at all.
Hmm.
Like, at the start of the year, I did. Because I was
Hmm.
like, I wish things would go back the way they were. But now I'm like, I am in such a good place in my life where I'm, like, really, really happy. I want to... I think I would be honored if at some point in Quinnipiac Tonight stuff, I would be a part of the leadership. I don't know what I would do, but I think that would be really cool. But I would only want to do it for the right reasons.
Of course.
Because I would be happy being on cast for 4 years. Like that's awesome. You know, because I love cast like so much. Like I wouldn't trade it for the world. But I think I have a lot of like leadership like training, and I have a lot of leadership like experiences, and I think it would be cool to bring that into college because I haven't been a leader of anything in a hot second. So I think it would be cool to do that. And then once I graduate, who knows? You know, maybe I'll live at home for a little bit and then like work at home, be a camp counselor for another year, and like work from home. I'm applying at an insurance job right now, so I have my second interview next Thursday. So if I get that, I would be in Hartford for a while. So I may go into insurance. I think the world is my oyster right now. And while I think sometimes it can be scary, because it's like I really don't know what my future holds for me, but I think I always say to myself, I think I'm in where I need to be, and I think I'm where I think I need to be here because it's where I'm supposed to be. I think there's a reason why college is 4 years. I mean, I know people have accelerated, but it's like I am exactly in the pipeline of my life. I am doing the right things, and I know exactly where to be. And I could stress about the future. I could stress about the unknowns, but I'm still going to be me. In 2 years, 22-year-old Anthony, oh, that's weird to say. 22-year-old Anthony is going to be 2 years more mature, 2 years more experienced with living on this earth. Like, if 18-year-old Anthony was in this room, like, it would be crazy because 18-year-old Anthony didn't know that much. And if you asked 18-year-old Anthony 2 years ago, he would be saying the same things that I'm saying now, where I'm at such a great point in my life, you know? And I think that was true 2 years ago, and I think it's true now. But if I couldn't change and grow myself and improve myself so much in 1 year, imagine where I'll be in 10. Imagine where I'll be in 20. So I have that optimism where it's, I have good majors, I have good relationships with people, I'm working on myself, and I'm at a point in my life where I'm ready for the next step. I'm ready for the next chapter. And I don't like endings, but it's like I don't view it as like the story's ending. I think I'm just on to a new chapter.
And very much so. And speaking of endings, movies have endings. I'd like to ask you, Anthony, what are some of your favorite movies?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, my all-time favorite movie is Ocean's 11 with George Clooney, like Brad Pitt, Matt Damon. I love that movie. I know every line of that movie, top to bottom. Like, I've seen it probably at least 100 times. It's one of my all-time favorite movies. My parents love that movie, so they introduced it to me. And even now, like the other day, my dad just sent me, like, my dad and I don't text too much, but he'll send me clips of stuff. He sent me a clip from Ocean's 11, like one of the scenes. My second favorite movie is National Treasure with Nick Cage. If you don't know the movie, it's where Nick Cage has to steal the Declaration of Independence to stop it from being destroyed. And yes, this is a real movie, and it's the second greatest movie of all time. And sure, objectively, is it an amazing movie? No. Do I love it? Yes. And it's just one of those, like, I grew up watching it as a kid. I also know all the lines to that, and it's my total comfort movie. If it comes on, I will stop everything and watch it. And my third favorite movie of all time, because those Ocean's 11 and National Treasure have been my 1 and 2. But my third favorite movie of all time, which is more of a recent pick, is La La Land, which I know you're a big fan of that movie. And I watched it probably 2 years ago. It was like a Sunday afternoon. I wasn't doing anything. Nobody was home. So I was like, let me just throw on a movie. And my friend Malik, he had recommended it to me. I was like, sure. So it was just like, I was not in like a movie watching mood, but I was like, oh, I'll just give it a try. I have never been more locked in my entire life. Beginning to end, that movie is so good, with the musical, with the writing, with the cinematography. Oh God, I'm becoming a filmmaker. But also, Emma Stone is one of my biggest celebrity crushes, so I'm like in love with her, and I'm delusional. And Ryan Gosling was great in the movie. Well, I was great in the movie because you were great in the movie because we're Ryan Gosling. But it's so good, and the ending, not to spoil, but the ending of it is so powerful because they don't end up together at the end. Where in all the Hallmark movies I've watched, of all the rom-coms that I've watched, they always end up together. Like, what do you mean they don't end up together? But it was so powerful that, you know, they loved each other so much, but they were just on different paths. But they still, like, deep down, like, cared about each other. And they, like, recognized that. And I was like, and neither of them would have achieved their dreams of, like, being a singer or opening up the jazz club if they stayed together. So in order to achieve their big dreams in life, they had to break apart.
Yeah, which is very powerful, and there's a reason why it resonates with so many people.
Yes.
And overall, Anthony, this episode very much resonated with me. Yeah. And before we wrap things up, do you have anything you'd like to leave the audience with, like a motivational quote or a plug or anything like that?
Well, watch Quinnipiac tonight. That'd be cool. But I would like to say how grateful I am for you, because I don't know if you realize this, but everyone does not shut up about you. Everyone loves you so much. Everyone is so appreciative of the time and the support and the energy that you bring to everything that you do. And I rave about you all the time, and my friends don't even know who you are. Because I'll be talking to my friends about people. I'm like, oh, like Jimmy, or like, oh, like Larry. Like, I don't, those are made up names. But I bring you up anyway because you're so important to me. And I'm willing to bet that the other 49 people on this podcast would say the exact same thing. And I think what you're doing here is so special and so important, because what I don't think you get enough credit is that the podcast now is super good. Not that it was bad at the start, but you yourself have improved and you've grown so much. You've said it yourself. You've only been here a year and a half. And look at what all you've done. It's incredible. Like, I can't even wrap my mind around it. Like, I look up to you so much. You're one of my biggest role models. And I will not shut up about you until the day that I die. And I don't say that to everybody, because as much as I'm very like, hey, you know, as much as I yap to everybody, I don't have a deep connection with a ton of people. And I am so honored that I'm a part of your life. And my life is so much better that you're in it. So I just wanted to say thank you for everything that you do. And I'm an avid listener, but even if you don't get everybody in the world to watch this, for the rest of your life, you can say, I had a great, meaningful interaction that I can go back and look at 20 years down the line of a snapshot in time. For you, you've given me this opportunity where in 5 years I'd be like, oh, I remember talking to Ryan Zicast, future president of the United States, President Zicast. Let me go what I've said, and this is a time capsule of this moment. And you create such positive moments and such positive warmth into this world that no one else can. And I have never met anyone like you. And I think whatever you do end up in your life, I think you will be superb at. You could do anything in this world, and I think the world would be better off.
Thank you so much, Anthony. What you just said in this entire episode has struck such a chord with me. Of course, I literally look up to you because you're taller than me.
Hey-o.
No. But no, the energy you bring to everything you do, how funny you are, the joy you bring into the world, like being able to talk to everyone. I've never met anyone quite like you, Anthony, and you have so many special qualities and do so many special things, and you're so bright. And I know that you're going to do so many great things in your own right, and it really meant the world for you being here, for you putting in so much time, for you being so open and so mindful, which is so important to this podcasting medium. And I'm very excited to see what you do over the course of the rest of your time here and beyond. And just overall, thank you so much, Anthony.
Well, thank you.
And as always, this is Ryan Zicast for the Zicast, where everyone has a story, signing off. Thank you so much for watching.